Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel and the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel. This is the Raw report for the 17th of January, 2022. Becky Lynch enters. Start Raw announcers run down the card for the night. Lynch speaks about how big this year's Royal Rumble is, and we could thank her for that. It's so big, in fact, stars from the past are returning, like Lita, Mickie James, and the Bella Twins, for an opportunity all to face her. Lynch then says Doudrop could thank her for winning last week and said she made people better before she beat them. She said Doo didn't make a name for herself. Someone else did it for her, and somebody named her Doudrop would never be champion as long as she's around. Doudrop interrupts. She said she's got a title match of her own. If Lynch really wants to face her instead of Bianca Belair, she made a big mistake. Bianca interrupts. Reminds us that she's the EST of the WWE, and the only reason that Doudrop won last week is because Lynch was too afraid to face her. Belair announced that she's entering the Royal Rumble match and do whatever it takes to win again. Liv Morgan interrupts. She also announced that she's entered the Royal Rumble and wanted Belair, her partner for tonight, that she'd eliminate her on her way to winning the match. Doudrop makes a snorting noise because she's bored by this time, as is the viewing audience. Chad Gable and Otis are shown in the back wearing graduation caps and gowns, getting ready for their tag team celebration ceremony. Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch and Doudrop defeat Bianca Belair and Liv Morgan 2 minutes 50 seconds. Kind of stupid, more of an angle than a match. Morgan and Lynch has pinned early on, but Doudrop barely breaks up the cover. Lynch seems to have it won over Morgan. Manhandle slams her, but Doudrop breaks up the cover as well. Then we go to Doudrop trying to pin Morgan, but the referee told her she wasn't a legal person. Morgan hits a splash for the pinfall win. Doudrop gives Lynch a bonsai drop. Post-match, Reggie asked Edge if he had any advice for his match against Almost tonight. Edge said anything can happen. Reggie is pleased and asked Edge if he thought he had a chance. Edge chuckled and said no. Beth Phoenix asks Edge in the stomach for saying that, and then Phoenix puts over Dana Brooke before Brooke chases after Reggie, who runs away. Edge approached Damian Priest, who's nearby. Priest then asked Edge in advance about winning the Royal Rumble before he could say anything. Producer handed Phoenix a note from Maurice. Maurice wanted to see her in the ring tonight, just for the two of them. Edge then tells Priest that he could speak later and shake hands before leaving with Phoenix. Priest calls Edge the man. Kevin Owens approaches Priest saying that he was looking forward to their match tonight. Owens then asked if he could have a nice technical match instead, Priest showing his crazy side. Priest blows him off and Owens left to host the show. Announcers speak about the Elimination Chamber in Saudi Arabia. Owens has the show with Seth Rollins. Owens wears a necktie over his sleeveless t-shirt. Said he'd be lying if he said he's happy to be in Tulsa because his place is brutal. Owens introduces his best friend, Seth Rollins. Owens tells Rollins how much he admired him, especially his suits. Basically, they spend time going over the suits. They set the table. Rollins appreciates the comments and claims that Reigns was scared. Rollins said he's winning the title would be like taking candy from a baby, and he planned on changing the belt from blue to red. Owens is happy to hear that Rollins planned on staying on Raw after he wins. That means he wouldn't have to deal with Bobby Lashley or Brock Lesnar anymore. We don't really understand why that is. Owens said he has an announcement of his own. He's entering the Royal Rumble matches if anyone cares. And then we'd have a dream match of Owens and Rollins at Mania. Don't know how that's a dream match. Damian Priest interrupts Rollins, telling him to leave. Owens would kick his tail. Priest tells him to shut up. Priest then calls him delusional and said nobody believed that he would beat Reigns. Priest then warned that if he didn't want to face Damian, they should wake up. And this is just time killer. Vince McMahon is coming to Raw again. Non-title match, Kevin Owens defeats Damian Priest, 10:55. Owens goes right at Priest and chops him. Owens then pleads for him, saying that he's just clean wrestling. Priest is fine with that explanation. Keeps his cool. Priest then mounts a comeback and then returns from the break. Priest uses strikes, clotheslines, and a broken arrow for near fall. Owens then fights Priest off the top rope and hits a big senton for 2. They trade counters until Owens hits a pop-up powerbomb for a near fall. Priest then follows up with a chokeslam for a near fall of his own. Owens then his knee gives out. Referee calls for the trainer. Crowd boos. Owens is faking and hits Priest with a stunner for the pinfall win. And the crowd is actually into the finish. Second hour, Sarah interviews Nikki Ash, still dressed as a superhero. Nikki then says she felt better than ever. Rhea Ripley should feel awful for being a bad friend. She took the team and flushed it down the toilet. Nikki said people of Tulsa don't have a hero of their own and wanted to be she wanted to be referred to as the people's hero. Sometimes heroes need to do things people don't understand. Ripley would need a superhero when she was done with her. Alpha Academy graduation ceremony. Chad Gable puts over his master's degree in 4.0 GPA. Gable gets booed and tells him not to boo education. Gable then said nobody from Tulsa had a master's degree or 4.0 GPA. Then Gable is proud of Otis for finishing his own degree by beating those morons, RK Bro, and now they're the rightful champions. I forgot they were champions. Crowd chanted RK Bro. Gable presented Otis with a diploma and said graduation was the highest of honors. Otis thanks Gable for helping him reach his full potential and warned everybody that they would face carnage if they tried to get in their way. Riddle interrupts. He said he's dressed in a cap and gown. Riddle then had a speech prepared, written on a napkin. Riddle rambles until Gable cuts him off. Gable tells Riddle that he ruined the greatest night of Otis' life. He figured Riddle wanted a rematch, but probably couldn't even define the word rematch. Riddle then thought maybe rematch meant lighting a match for a second time. Gable then called him an idiot and wondered where Randy Orton was. Gable said Riddle could get a rematch if he could pass an academic aptitude test. Riddle then continues to ramble. Otis starts walking towards him. This left Gable prone, and he hits an RKO from Orton. Riddle then wipes out Otis. Before he could go after Orton, Riddle helps Orton put a cap and gown on. Orton grabs the mic, accepts the title rematch. This is stupid. They airs a replay from Finn Balor beating Austin Theory weeks ago. Theory approaches Vince McMahon in his office. McMahon watching the replay of Balor's win. Theory explained again that he might have lost, but he beat up Balor afterwards. That's a half victory. Then McMahon said there's no half victories and he didn't beat Balor tonight. McMahon would beat him up. And McMahon then explained all the ugly, gory things he'd do to Theory if Theory looked on in shock. McMahon said he finished by taking a selfie over Theory's body before sending it to his mom. Austin Theory defeats Finn Balor after a Martin Luther King video. They go to a break a minute into the match. The match runs 6:06. Balor hits a sling blade on the outside. Balor remains in control after the break. Theory dropped Balor neck first over the top rope, but Balor counters the ATL into a roll-up for near fall. Theory dodges a coup de grace and then follows up with a rolling dropkick and the ATL for clean pinfall win. Theory attacked Balor after the match, lays him out with another of his finishers. Schreiber interviews Ripley and said he wants to remain friends with Nikki, but wondered what kind of a hero attacks their friend. Ripley planned on reminding everyone, including Nikki, who she was. Queen Zelina and Carmella entered before their upcoming match could start. Bragged about being right about Ripley and Nikki. They said they should be thanked for breaking them up because they're better off. Vegas said Ripley didn't have the guts to be champion of her own, on her own. Ripley and Nikki Ash doesn't happen. Carmella and Zelina attack. Brooke psychs Reggie up in the back as R-Truth, Tamina, Kurt Tozawa, and a referee watched on eating a bunch of popcorn, and I gotta grab my phone. So we'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail for that continuation of what amounts to a completely unnecessary continuation of a Raw segment. So anyway, we kind of move forward here. Almost defeats Reggie for the with the 24/7 champion. Dana Brooke, 30-second request. Match Tozawa and Truth are running around after Brooke, but almost decks them both because they entered the ring. Tamina gets in on Almost face, and Reggie goes to the top rope. Match begins and Almost catches Reggie off the top rope, hitting a big tree slam for a quick win. Maurice and Beth Phoenix go into a face-to-face going into the third hour. Maurice and Miz basically says, Maurice says her husband has a big mouth. She wants to clean up the mess and asks Phoenix to come out so they could talk woman to woman. Phoenix enters with Edge. Maurice speaks about their history and says the women of today can main event WrestleMania because of the work they did. Maurice thought they should be friends. Their kids should hang out. Phoenix tells her to shut up. She's not buying any of this, and neither is the crowd, which meant Maurice is taking acting lessons from her husband. Phoenix said that their match was on, and she's not going to pass up a chance to team with her husband. She also said she's passing up a chance to slam Maurice's tail through the canvas. Maurice reveals she has a brick in her purse. Phoenix wants to give the fans a preview, so Phoenix then got nailed with the purse, revealing the brick. Street Profits speak about the Rumble match. Angelo Dawkins asked Montez Ford if he would throw him out. Before they could respond, Dominic and Rey Mysterio appeared. 8-man tag team match just to fill time. 7 minutes, 59 seconds. Street Profits, Dominic and Rey Mysterio defeat Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode, Apollo Crews, and Commander Aziz. Basically, spots. 2 teams argue on the outside of the ring. Then they go into control. They return. Dawkins makes a hot tag. Goes nuts. Mysterio hits Ziggler and Roode with a double 619. Aziz catches Rey, but Dominic knocks him out after the match. Mysterio dumps Dawkins and Ford over the top rope and hits a preview of the Rumble match. Mysterio's acted like it's all good-natured fun. Rey then dumps Dominic over the top rope too. So yeah, video featuring Brock Lesnar and Lashley showcasing both of their careers. They acknowledge their various mixed martial arts experience in both Bellator and UFC respectively. Jimmy Smith then said, when it comes to mental health, the first thing you have to do is recognize you have a problem. I think we all recognize Alexa Bliss has a serious problem. Kevin Patrick asks Maurice and Miz to comment about their earlier attack of things. Then we go, Miz says that Maurice's birthday is next week and he plans on throwing her a huge party. He says nothing is stronger than their love. Alexa Bliss segment. She's back at the psychiatrist's office. The psychologist wants to play word association game after every word. He said, trust, friendship. She responded with Lily. When he said the word imaginary, she stands up appearing angry. He bailed. Bliss sat down. Segment ends. And anyway, Bobby Lashley with MVP defeated Seth Rollins in 13 minutes, 17 seconds. Lashley barely moves when Rollins hits a suicide drive. Rollins tries another. Lashley catches him and suplexes him after the break. Rollins is randomly in control. He drives Lashley's leg into the post. Rollins then works over the leg until Lashley punched his way out of a submission. Rollins then uses an awkward-looking dragon screw leg whip and applies a single leg crab. Lashley pushes him off and Rollins hits a stomp, but Lashley ducks, hits a flatliner, and then Lashley follows up with an overhead suplex, shoulder tackle, and a neck breaker, and a dominator for a near fall. Rollins then blocks a spear, hits a knee strike, and hits a couple of counters, fits a pedigree near fall. Rollins then goes to the top, but Lashley catches him with an impressive looking overhead suplex. Match suddenly enters a DQ when he attacks Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander. Lashley then makes his own comeback and gives him double vertical suplex. Lashley drives Alexander into the post and spears Benjamin through the barricade. Rollins then watches the Uso, enters through the crowd and gives him a double super kick. And that'll close the show. Good gosh, what a horrible program. But I say that every week because WWE is just the ultimate indirect in wrestling programming. Anyway, we'll be back with more after this.